Hey everyone, John and Ray from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a wedge breakout here on crude oil. Initially, the buyers looked like they were really strong, and this is probably catching a lot of buyers off guard. They're not expecting that, so I'm expecting those buyers to want to exit, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Look at that rundown. That's what we're looking for. So in terms of this move here, let me get the stop above the highs. The objective really is just to the bottom where this big spike up started. That is the primary objective down there, and I'm going to go to 49.26 just to get ahead of it a little bit. But primarily what we're looking at is we started the day with a nice run higher. We had a beautiful run higher. They pulled back, they held that pullback, and they got very aggressive to the upside. The problem is when we got back up to that $50 area, we hit the $50 area to the tick twice. And they saw some heavy selling pressure. Now, a lot of buyers are going to be looking at this thinking, all right, well, there's probably just people taking profit. They've been buying all morning. This is going to give them a chance to buy the pullback. So you're going to have buyers that buy the pullback and buy the pullback and buy the pullback. And you'll notice every single time they bought that pullback, it got worse and worse and worse, where finally, when they start seeing a counter to their position entry, i.e. a wedge breakout, they're going to be looking to exit. They're thinking, all right, well, I tried again, I tried a third time, still not working, I'm wrong, I need to get out. And that's where they're going to do it right here. So we're entering short at 67, knowing that they're going to really hate everything about this, and that should cause a nice spike to the downside. So the entry at 49.67, I'm looking for this to drive down to 49.26 as the final objective. But with this big breakdown candle doing exactly what we want it to do, we'll definitely be locking that stop in a little bit tighter as we see this candle complete. So everything turning out really well to the downside here. Now we just have to wait for the sellers to continue this drive lower. You're probably seeing some sellers taking some profit on that fast move down. Wouldn't be unheard of at all. But until then, we'll wait and see if we can get that target at 49.26. Continuing to see the sellers pin this market to the downside, I'm going to remove all of the risk. I don't want to see this come back. I'm going to go above the last buy attempt here because we really shouldn't break that. So 49.46 is going to be the stop, and I want to see them finish this job off relatively soon. We're starting to see a slight concern in that every time they've poked their head underneath this low, it was bought right back higher. They did it again, and it was bought right back higher again. So I want to see them get this move done sooner rather than later because we are seeing the sellers lose a little bit of faith to the downside. So that is a slight concern, especially if we can't fill the objective here relatively soon. That will be a problem for the continued selling move, and that means that I don't want to be in anymore. So you can see every time they try to push down to that bottom, it pops right back up again. So depending on how this candle closes here, that may kind of trigger us to say, all right, well, it's obviously not doing what it's supposed to, so we're just going to exit and call it good. Now, if we're not getting the follow through that we're looking for, there is some merit to just exiting right now at that prior swing low just to get out, right? But I want to see what they are doing down here. They still have about 3.5 minutes on this candle, so depending on how they end up on this, we should be able to either get the spike down or we'll get out at our stop. Either way, though, beautiful trade to the downside. Now we just have to wait to see if the sellers want to follow it up. Looks like they might try here. They're hitting that small little trend line we just drew up. I want to see them get through it relatively quickly here. If they're not able to, then that will trigger us to get out. Tested the target, and there we get it filled. Beautiful move down. That's exactly what we were looking for, but they needed to finish it there. We don't want to sit here waiting for them and taking their sweet time because we're seeing the sellers lose their bias, right? They're buying it. It's probably going to get bought here too. So I want to make sure that I'm not stuck holding the bag on the last people short in this. I want to get my profit target out, and that's exactly what we got there. So if you didn't get filled there, let's say hit it to the tick and then bounced right back up again, seeing this pop right back high, that's a really big clue. That's telling you, hey, you know what? You might just want to take it right there and call it a day. And you can see a lot of people took profit there. So that's going to do it for me. Beautiful rundown, gorgeous breakdown from the buyers. And now the sellers own this thing. So we're looking to go into the sell side. If you would have told me that a couple hours ago, I wouldn't have believed you. But this is not indicative of continued bullishness. So we'll flip over to the sell side and we'll keep selling this thing down. But if you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.